Two women are nursing serious injuries at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital following a chopping incident in Roadview, St. Peter. The latest on this story and more in your Barbados Today news update for Thursday, August 31. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening. The hunt continues for the male suspect allegedly responsible for inflicting what police described as slash wounds and cuts on two women this morning. Police spokesman, Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, says the women were found just after 8 a.m. following an altercation with the man who left the scene.
There's a male suspect who reportedly left the scene and is being sought by the police. We are in the process of positively identifying that suspect, and we are made to understand that he is known to both of the victims. Anyone who can help with information of this incident are asked to contact the nearest police station or the police emergency number at 211, the police hotline at 429-8787. All information will be treated in the strictest of confidentiality.
Now, there's a call for the public to desist from sending videos and photos of victims via social media as investigators continue to probe this latest incident and Tuesday night's double murder at Malievale, St. Philip. Inspector Innes says such a practice has devastating and sometimes detrimental effects on the families and surviving victims.
But we want persons to be more humane, to be able to sympathize with the family and the loved ones and the victims of crime. That we don't want to have information out there, certainly that we would need for police investigation purposes. But certainly these things affect families in the long run. It's very painful and hurtful in the long run. That's why we do follow up, and that's why we have counseling services for victims of crime. And those are things that we want persons to desist from doing. Of course, what other information you have, whether via social media, pictures, photography, whatever you have and you want to hand over to the police that will help in our investigations, we would willingly take. But certainly circling around to the international public, scenes that are hurtful to family members, we don't want that. We want persons to desist from that kind of behavior.
Meantime, a Magistrate Carlisle Graves is suggesting that the country's court system is partially to blame for the increased levels of crime sweeping the country. Addressing the Rotary Club of Barbados South dinner meeting at the Accra Beach Hotel last evening, Graves said the judiciary was simply not moving fast enough in prosecuting cases.
The space between the commission of the crime and the trial of the case is so far apart, we often become numb to the situation. We often forget what it's about. That is so today, and it was so in the 1990s when I presided as a magistrate. I started as a magistrate in 1992. I was a prosecutor before that. And during my years as a prosecutor, I came to the view that the reason why we had an escalation of crime, according to police reports, from the period 1989 on, was because there was sloth in the system. So the old adage that delay contributes to the increase of crime in society is a truth.
That was Magistrate Carlisle Graves speaking on the topic Aspects of Judicial Management, the Barbados to Bermuda Experience, speeding up the process. At the same time, this year's Pick of the Crop, Calypso Monarch, is also concerned about the current spate of gun crime. Speaking to the media after collecting his prize, a Nissan X-Trail from Courtesy Garage Limited this afternoon for capturing the coveted crown, Ian Webster said the situation was troubling, especially for future generations.
Well, gun violence is never a positive thing because children grow up in a society, we are all a part of it. Children happen to emulate what they see, so when we have a lot of gun violence and all these kind of things going on right now, it's obviously troubling more than one level, because it's troubling on the level that, you actually have violence taking place, but it's troubling on the level of that you also have violent education taking place. So it's quite concerning and really doesn't all go well for when we look down the road in terms of the upcoming generations. It's very concerning.
However, he believes the worrying trend can be reversed if there is a change in attitudes.
We need to get our people thinking differently. We got to get our young people thinking differently. We got to engage them differently on an intellectual level. We got to start to maximize their potential in terms of our education system and make the system as such that people who may not necessarily be academically inclined are able to achieve. Though they're not academically inclined, they may be musically inclined, may be technically inclined, but set up our structure in such a way that they're able to thrive and progress in life.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
We are the tridents, we run it down. Everybody know we the baddest around. Anything test, we will throw that down. Come in, Peter, and tell me how me sound. Yes, lyric, you're talking the truth. When we walk out there, they have to salute. Boy, when we put on the trident suit, we put everybody from you. Let's go, tridents. Barbados tridents. Let's go, tridents. Barbados tridents. Wash them all. Dust them all. Knock them all. Send them all. Run them all. Brush them all. Get them all. Dust them all. You know why? Barbados tridents is better than anything. Nothing can test with.
To regional happenings now. Weather-wise, the Caribbean is quiet at the moment, but all eyes are on the system Irma, which became a Category 3 hurricane over the eastern Atlantic this evening. At 5 p.m., the 9th named storm of the 2017 hurricane season was moving in a west-northwest direction near 12 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds have increased to near 115 miles per hour with higher gusts. Forecasters at the Miami-based National Hurricane Center expect Irma to remain a powerful hurricane for several days despite fluctuations in strength. There are no coastal watches or warnings in effect for the system at this time, which is currently some 1,780 miles east of the Leeward Islands. And finally, flood-stricken southeast Texas struggled Thursday with a series of new challenges as oil refineries and pipelines had to be shut down and a fire broke out at a chemical plant near Houston. More in this report from the CNN.
There are chemicals inside that are highly flammable that need to be refrigerated. When they were no longer refrigerated and heated up, basically they degraded and they ignited. Now that sent a plume of smoke, some 30 to 40 feet into the air. They had evacuated the neighborhood in advance and got rid of told a few hundred citizens to leave. We also understand from Harris County Sheriff's officials that some first responders, both sheriff's deputies and some emergency personnel, were treated at a local hospital. 8 of them have been released. 7 of them are being observed right now. The nature of their injuries are said to not be serious at this point. And they say that these fumes are not toxic. They likened it to basically leaning over a campfire. Now, this Arkema company makes these chemicals used in everything, basically from pharmaceuticals to construction. And they're predicting that there will be more of these ignitions.
That's news, but there is more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, or you can tune into Mix 96.9 FM for the very latest. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.